So let's go ahead and take a look at the analytics page now. And there's actually a couple of ways to get there. You can either go to the nav menu and click on analytics like this right here, or if you're on your home page and you want to go to the specific screen for the specific metric on the analytics page, then you can actually click on the card for the metric you're interested in, and that will send you straight to the analytics page as well and will have pre-selected that specific metric. So obviously the default metric that shows is the total chats. And the difference here compared to the little cards up there on the dashboard is that you can actually see each individual day during the time period that is selected up here. And so I can see here that for March 10th, I had 24 chats, for the next day 12, and so on and so forth. Same thing for visitors, same thing for duration. You know, on this day, I had an average conversation duration of 22 minutes, whereas over here it was 1 minute. So you can see that kind of day-by-day breakdown for the time period selected. Again, this will adjust based upon whatever time period you have selected here. And this time selector persists across all the analytics. So if I start off on the dashboard and I come to analytics and I choose, let's say, last month, for example, then when I go to visitors, duration, messages, and so on, it's going to stay set to last month. That way you don't have to keep changing that for every single metric switch. When you come to topics, this is where you're going to see the breakdown for the chat topic insights that we saw on the dashboard, that bottom right card. So you're going to have a little pie chart over here where you can kind of see those topics represented as these little slices in the pie chart. Total number of messages for the time period that's selected. And then down below here in the right card, you can see the actual topics that messages were categorized into during the time period selected. Now on the home dashboard, I believe it only shows the top 7 topics, but you can see here clearly that there are actually 13 topics for the time period selected. And you can scroll through those topics. You can see obviously how many messages were categorized in each one of those topics. And then if you click on a topic, you can see all of the messages, all the comments that were sent by the visitors that were classified into that category during that time period. And so if you see a specific message that you want to see the whole conversation for, then you can just click on it. So let's just use the first one here. You can see the visitor said, if I wanted to train 20 employees per month, what would the cost options be? And just a little context, this test account was set up for a scenario of a company that's selling online training and live training face-to-face and things of that nature. So you can see if I click on the actual comment, it's going to load the conversation in the right side. Now this view looks different than the actual conversations page where you're actually going to have conversations with visitors and be able to monitor the AI assistant if you want to watch those conversations in real time. But this is just meant to give you the context, the full context. It's immediately going to scroll to the specific comment in the whole conversation that you selected there. So I can see the comment, I can scroll all the way back, I can see how the conversation began, what the visitor's first question was. I can see the AI assistant was enabled at the beginning here and started answering based upon the information in the business profile for the organization. I can see it did the calls to action to try to get them to schedule meetings or load that contact form to collect the lead data. But you can see here, obviously, the visitor asked another question here, or a request here to give more information, and the AI assistant did so. Eventually, though, you can see that an actual agent took over and started conversing with the actual visitor there. But again, this is the power of the chat topics feature, is to give you the ability to have that insight, to be able to see what's going on without having to watch every single one of the conversations, to dig through every single conversation. It's a very powerful tool to save you a lot of time.